Hello, everybody, and welcome to our pregame show today. I'm Nathaniel Finch. I'll be joined by Brett Kading here in just a minute. Today, Friday Night Football, we've got the Western Boone Stars coming in 5-1 against the Southmont Mounties. Western Boone undefeated in the conference so far in Southmont. They're 3-0 at home, which is exactly where this game is tonight. Take a look into the coaches. Coach Pelly, 57-12 for the Stars since 2013 when he took over for this football program. And Coach Hannum for Southmont, he's 60-74 since 2007. Continuity is key for both these two teams as they're going to look to continue their season into the postseason here in just a few weeks. Some key players to take a look at. Spencer Wright, he's throwing at an absurd 11-2 touchdown interception rate for the Stars. And Cameron Giles for Southmont, he's had 11 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's also thrown one through the air as well. So keep an eye on these two players as they're the engines for their offense. We'll move on and take a look at the keys to the game for tonight. Western Boone, their three keys: control tempo, no errors and penalties. Limit those penalties. For the Western Boone, you got to make sure as you're controlling tempo, you are in control of the game and you are forcing the Southmont to respond after that. As for the no errors, they are favored heavily in this matchup, the Stars are, and just in order to cover that line, they need to make sure that they do not make these egregious errors and throw their chances out the window. As for their penalties, the Stars have struggled through penalties throughout the year, and they just need to focus. Last week, they did a really nice job limiting penalties. This week, they're going to have to do the same in order to come out with a victory and just keep those penalties from piling up. As for Southmont, their three keys: airing out the football, field position, and controlling and forcing takeaways. In order for this Southmont team to keep pace with Spencer Wright and the Western Boone offense, they're going to need to throw the ball through the air. That's something that they are not exactly accustomed to. This Southmont team, more of a run-heavy team, but they're going to have to focus on throwing the ball and trying to exploit this bit of a weaker secondary for Western Boone and try to put up points from their field position battle is going to be crucial for Southmont, as they got to make sure that they are controlling where they are starting on the field. They do not want to get stuck back and inside their own 20-yard line and behind. They need to be closer to midfield in order to mount successful drives and put up points against this prolific Stars offense. And as for the takeaways for Southmont, force them as much as you can. The Stars do not turn the ball over very often, and in order to create more opportunities and keep the Stars off the scoreboard, takeaways are going to be key for the Southmont team. That's all for our pregame show. I'm Nathaniel Finch, be momentarily joined by Brett Kading. Now down to the booth for the call of tonight's game. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast booth tonight for our radio show. I'm Nathaniel Finch, alongside Brett Kading here. We've been met with some pretty tough technical difficulties during the setup of this game, so radio only is what we're going with today, and won't be a problem for you, Brett. You've been in radio for however long, and
25 years, longer than you've been around.
That is right. So today we've got the Southmont Mounties. You heard a little bit up in the pregame. They're 3-3. They're 3-0 at home, and they're facing the Stars 5-1. They are undefeated in conference. Their one loss was against Western. So the Stars last week, they played a pretty rough game. For Frankfort, it was a rough game. But Western Boone, they played against Frankfort at home. Their homecoming, won that 56-0. Before that, they were at North Montgomery, where they won 28-14, and the week before that, home against Tri-West, 27-13. And one theme for those first two games where a lot of people thought that maybe they would be bigger margins of scoring here, as the Stars are more used to putting up more points. It was the penalties, and they were held under 30 points for both of those games against Tri-West and North Montgomery because of a lot of the penalties they were committing. Last week, they were almost penalty-free against Frankfort, and guess what, Brett? They won 56-0. So that's going to be a big key to this game, is watching out for those penalties and holding their penalties back. And I'm sure it's something that they've been thinking about through practice here throughout the week.
Well, and, that's one thing with Western Boone. We talked about that, the North Montgomery game. They come off of the North Montgomery game with a lot of issues, things that they needed to do, things they needed to work on. And they did that against the Hot Dogs, and then now they come in here to Southmont, and they're really backloaded on their season. They've got some really big games left, not only in the conference, but for their season and what their season's going to end up looking like. The Mounties are kind of the same way. The Mounties go from Danville to come here and host the state champions, and that's the, talk about being the frying pan into the fryer. You go from a really good Danville team to a really, really good Western Boone Stars team. So, and then Western Boone, I think they've got to also tonight keep working on the things they want to do against their next opponent, which is Danville. And then they look at going, and they're at Danville, then they come home to Lebanon. So, and then the Mounties, they've got tough games as well coming up. So, the Mounties have just got to be thinking. I think the Mounties probably know that their opportunities are going to be slim here. But, again, they got to keep it close. They got to keep the score down. They're not a big scoring team, where Western Boone, we saw them last week against Frankfort. If they get ahead in this game and this rock starts rolling downhill, the Mounties won't be able to keep up. One of the things is interesting on the series between these two teams. Western Boone leads. I want to thank the Bear, Barry Lewis, for getting me this information. They played 39 times, and Western Boone leads the series 27-11. In the last 10 meetings, Western Boone has an 8-2 lead over the Mounties. The Mounties have played 18 here. Western Boone leads 11-7 here, and their first meeting. What year were you born?
2001, Brett.
Okay. October the 10th, 1985. I was out of high school for 3 years when Southmont played Western Boone. I would have thought they would have played Western Boone before that, but they had started playing Western Boone in 1985, and Southmont won that 14-9. But last season, Western Boone won big, a 53-7 victory over the Mounties, and they've won. I've got some more information. I'll keep some of these for later on down the line, but Western Boone's won the last 8 games straight against the Mounties. Yeah,
in the last 5, the combined score 190-57 in favor of Western Boone. They've not only been able to put up these points, they've been able to hold Southmont's offense from putting up those points. The last 3 straight games, Southmont has only scored 7 points in each of those affairs, have not able to score more than 1 touchdown. And just kind of taking a look at some of these scoring averages on the year as these two teams are now heading out onto the field and preparing to take the field for kickoff here shortly. Western Boone, they're averaging 40 points a game this year. Southmont only averaging 21.3 points per game. The Stars, looking at just these averages, they're averaging 30 points in just the first half. And that's more than what Southmont's averaging in total. So definitely for Southmont, as you heard the keys of the game at the top of the show, that it's going to be key for them to put up points and match what the Stars are doing, match the offense of Western Boone, and just try to hang in there with them. Southmont, they're only averaging 7 points in the first half. Yeah, and look at what last week, Frankfort didn't even score they've not scored until the fourth quarter of the ball games. The Mounties are having a rough time, scoring any points as well. So I could see, there are some similarities between last week's game for Western Boone and this week's game. But if you're Western Boone and you're the coaching staff, you can't look beyond anybody. Anybody can beat anybody on a given night. Mistakes, things happen. Penalties.
Exactly. You've got to be ready to play every week, and that's the thing that Western Boone can't be looking at Danville or thinking about Danville. They got to be thinking about the Mounties, and the Mounties have been thinking about Western Boone. Everybody's got the state champions circled on the calendar when they play them. Yeah, and just kind of looking into some of these matchup stats, Western Boone, they're averaging 238 rushing yards per game. That's where most of their offense comes, but they're still averaging 122 passing yards per game. So it's not that they don't have
the talent to go through the air. It's just the fact they don't need to because their rushing numbers are putting up so many statistical, just astronomical games here, averaging 238 rushing yards per game. They don't even really need their passing game, but it does set up those play actions. It sets up the options, the motions, to where this offense is really able to thrive on the move and on the fly coming up with these plays. As for Southmont, they're averaging almost 200 rushing yards per game. They're almost up there with Western Boone as well. However, their passing yards per game dwindling down to 60 yards per game.
Well, if you're Western Boone, what's going to happen? Western Boone's rushing sets up their passing. And what they do with the passing is they keep the defense honest. Southmont, on the other hand, they've got a quarterback who's come in. They've had some injuries in the quarterback position. The other thing with Southmont, that the Mounties, and I know how Des and Hannum, I've watched him coach for years. He loves to run the ball. And if the Southmont Mounties can run the ball, that is the kind of offense he wants to run. And, there's been times they may not pass it, they may not even pass it, 5 or 6 times, 10 times in a ball game, because if they can run the ball, that's what they want to do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here in this game because you mentioned some of those injuries to the quarterback position. Cameron Giles has been the leading rusher for the Mounties so far this year. He has to step in and play quarterback now because of some of those injuries. And he has not had the best statistics here, only a 40% completion percentage, 1 to 3 touchdown interception ratio, as these teams are now out to return the kickoff. Yep. And this game is going to get underway under the leg of Hayden Woodruff. This one is going to be dropped right around the 10-yard line. It rolls, and Mountie picks it up, coming to the close side, and now it will be brought down right around the 22-yard line. Looks like number 22 for Southmont, Dylan Lowy. And now set up Southmont's offense, that run-heavy offense that you mentioned, with the 1st and 10 right around the 22-yard line.
Yeah, the Western Boone won the toss, deferred to the second half, and then the Mounties chose to this doesn't really go north to south or east to west here, but Mounties going left to right on your radio dial, if you have a dial.
So here's man in motion. You've got the 3 running back set. One of those is a wing back. 1 wide receiver out wide. Under center is Giles. It's going to be a bootleg over the left side. Throws that one in through the hands of his intended receiver. Incomplete.
That was Nathan France that the ball went through for the Mounties.
A pair of captains there. Captain quarterback Cameron Giles not able to connect with number 88 captain senior Nathan France. So that'll set up this Southmont offense here with their 2nd and 10 now.
And Ty Gilstrap was supposed to start, the senior, and I'm trying to figure out who took his place on the field tonight.
Here's the play. Handoff over to the left side. Still moving. Gets about 3 or 4 yards before he's brought down right around the 28, 29-yard line. Is that 22? Dylan Lowy with the carry. And will now set up the Mounties with a 3rd and medium, 3 or 4 yards. 11 and a half minutes left here in this first quarter. And this offense stepping out to the line of scrimmage. A lot of running backs there on the formation, kind of like looks like a flex bone formation in that area. And got a couple wing backs, a couple of full backs. They do like to run the ball, as you mentioned, very run-heavy set. And this quarterback, Giles, moving out to the right side. He is a running back, so he can use his legs. He throws this one up, and it falls incomplete. There is some laundry on the field. Intended receiver, number 19, the senior, Jake Whitecotton. But, like I mentioned, we've got a flag on the play.
Yeah, and it looks like the senior, Ethan Himes, is taking the place for Ty Gilstrap, who was hurt this week, I guess, and is not starting in the game. Somebody said he wasn't even dressed.
Yeah, that flag was thrown about 20 yards past the line of scrimmage, so. And they just gave the call. I didn't quite see what that was. It is against Western Boone, so that'll move Southmont and give them an automatic 1st down. So Southmont will start 1st and 10 now.
Must have been a pass interference of some kind. Because, yeah, they're going to give him a 1st down.
I believe that was a holding call against the Stars.
Okay.
So that sets up Southmont their 39-yard line. 1st and 10. One wide receiver to the far side. Man in motion. It'll be a quarterback keeper. He's moving to the right side, cuts it back left, and it will now be leveled and brought down for a gain of none by a few stars. One of those, number 8, Luke Marsh.
Yeah, Marsh on the tackle there.
And Giles not able to make anything happen there with his feet. We're likely going to see quite a bit of these quarterback sneaks, the quarterback runs, and just all these quarterback bootlegs, because as we mentioned, their backup quarterback, now the starter, Cameron Giles, he's played running back phenomenally all year, and now he's thrown into this passing position. He's got 92 carries on the year, 416 yards, and 11 rushing touchdowns, and that is at the running back position. So here's the bootleg out to the close side. He'll be forced to throw it out of bounds, incomplete. Pressure, there is a flag on the play that could be roughing the passer. Number 51, Caleb Freeman, was the one to bring him down.
I think they're going to get him for just throwing the ball out of bounds. Nobody receiver there to get the ball. But the good thing about it was big number 51 is going to get, I think, he's going to get his sack. Yeah, they're going to call grounding.
Yeah.
So he's going to get his sack.
Freeman, number 51, the defensive lineman for the Stars. He will be credited with the sack if that comes through, and that will be a state-leading number of sacks here. As he'll have 9.5 sacks now as he got him down on his own, leads the state in that category. You'll hear from Caleb Freeman here at halftime as we have an exclusive interview with him, the senior defensive lineman.
Well, he was able to get past the Mountie line, blew past the line, and the quarterback had no chance.
Here's 3rd and very long. It'll be a rush up the middle, just trying something safe. Stopped for a loss of about 1. The surge up the middle from Dakota Halford and from Luke Marsh. That'll set up 4th down and very long.
Ty Welliver on the rush for the Mounties.
4th and about 27. 9:48 left in the first quarter.
And the Mounties had the ball all the way out to the 40-yard line, and now they're back at the 27.
They're here being forced to punt.
I think Hull's back for Western Boone.
Here's the punt. The kick is up. It's blocked, deflected. It's on the ground, and still on the ground picking it up is the Western Boone. Brett Wethington now gives it to Caleb Freeman, who's brought down. Caleb Freeman now at his own 9-yard line, at Southmont's 9-yard line, that is, and a huge special teams play as the punt blocked and recovered by the Stars.
It was number 4. I don't have a number for him on the thing here.
Dakota Halford, 48, had his hand in on the play. Wethington was there as well, and ultimately Caleb Freeman was the one to scoop the fumble and bring it to the 9-yard line of Western Boone. Now sets them up with 1st and goal. Their first offensive possession, a very forgiving one here. They don't have to go more than 10 yards to score. We'll see what they can do here. They've got a run-heavy set. Robbie Taylor, the starting running back here because of this. It'll be a handoff to the right side to Taylor, and Taylor up the right side, still moving, and he's in. Western Boone will get a touchdown. Put 6 up on the board. Robbie Taylor, number 41, rushes it in with ease to the right side and scores this one for the Stars and puts them up early against the Mounties. And, Brett, you usually see number 16, Wethington, in on that play, but they went with that run-heavy set knowing that they were just going to take 1 or 2 plays to run that one in. And easily, number 41, Robbie Taylor, knocks this one in. Here's a PAT. Jake Taylor's kick is up, and it goes through. He's now 21 of 22 for PATs on the year through his time as the PAT kicker for Western Boone. That's Jake Taylor.
Well, we saw Taylor, Robbie Taylor, last week in that second half. He was really the workhorse there in the second half, and we saw him break loose a couple times and one for a touchdown last week against Frankfort.
Yeah, quick scoring update already. Tri-West versus North Montgomery. Tri-West is ahead 7-0 in that one. So that's a quick score for the Bruins.
But yeah, Tri-West, they're not going to have, I don't believe, too much trouble with North Montgomery tonight. But there's going to be some interesting games around the state and around the conference. And everybody's chasing the Stars. The Stars are the only one without a loss in the conferences so far this year.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, Tri-West has really done the Stars a favor, narrowly beating Danville and Lebanon as well, the two next guys up there in the race for the Sagamore Conference. The Stars have already beat Tri-West, so as long they can afford to lose one game, but besides that, they can just cruise here to a Sagamore Conference title. Here's the kick. The kick is up and recovered over to the near side by Lowy. Lowy still moving right around the 20, 29, 30-yard line. And Dylan Lowy, the returner there for the Mounties, will be brought down after a pretty nice kickoff return.
Yeah, the Mounties going to get the ball outside the 30-yard line. They're going to put it at the 31. Of course, you know, it's not always how long you have the ball. It's what you do with the ball when you have it. And Western Boone able to score in just seconds. And the Mounties controlled the ball, had it out to the 40-yard line, and ended up back at the 26.
So here's the pistol formation for Southmont. Man in motion is Lowy. It'll be a quarterback keeper to the left side. Still moving is Giles. There's a flag on the play. Near the line of scrimmage, he'll be brought down after a gain of just one. Of course, the flag was thrown right around the line of scrimmage. That's usually the prime spot for a holding call.
Yep.
We'll see.
Brett Wethington on the stop there on the far side. Western Boone's doing a really good job stringing it out. As the Mounties are trying to get around the outside, Western Boone's moving over. Western Boone just a very quick on the outside team, and the Mounties having a hard time getting the ball around the outside on them. And it is going to be holding on the Mounties. It'll be first down and 20. Down to 9 minutes to go here in this first quarter of play. Western Boone 7-0 over the Mounties.
Here's that pistol formation, 3-receiver set. Rolling out to the right side is Giles. He throws this one. It'll be caught towards the near sideline by, look like Dylan Lowy. Again on that one, he's brought out of bounds after a gain of just 1 or 2 again. And their 2 straight short yardage plays now sets up the Mounties with a 3rd and 8.
Yep, Luke Marsh on the stop for the Western Boone Stars. Mounties picked up about 13 there, so they picked up a half. What they needed to make it at least a 2nd down and 8.
There's some motion, some confusion on the Southmont offense. They're back in place. Here comes the snap from Giles. Man in motion once again. Handoff up the middle and still moving forward. Not going to get very much, though. The Mountie running back looks like Welliver will be brought down after a short gain of just 2 or 3. Now sets up 4th and short for the Mounties.
Clayton Heisen on the tackle for the Stars.
3rd and 4 now on the play.
Tell you, a beautiful evening. We've turned the page on the 90-degree days. I don't think we're going to see too many more of those. Right now it's 61 degrees here, and sun starting to set.
Here's the handoff. Yeah,
yep.
With left side. And that does not get enough. And it looks like they had it set 3rd and 4. So now it'll be 4th and just 3. There's an injury on the play, though.
Looks like Welliver. It is. And I'll tell you, it's 61 degrees. We just have a little bit of wind, northeasterly wind, 7 miles per hour. And it's not going to be enough to affect anything. And this another turf field for the Stars and the Mounties to play on. And I tell you what, I hadn't been back to Southmont here to see the facilities since they put the turf in, and it is really, really nice. They've done a great job. They're working on, they've got the track here. And Western Boone, you guys are going to work on getting a track on their football stadium as well, right?
Yeah, I believe the track is finished now, so theoretically a game could be played at Western Boone as soon as tomorrow.
Wow.
They will actually host the girls' soccer sectionals here this upcoming week, so shout out to the Western Boone team, going to be playing on next Thursday.
Well, and I'll do a little shout out for the Mounties. The tennis team won the sectional against Crawfordsville this week, and it had been since 1991. It was the last time that the Mountie boys won the tennis sectional. So I believe they play the winner of Parkview or no, it's Brazil. What's Brazil? That's trying to think of their school. Whatever. The Brazil, and they're playing South Putnam tomorrow. I'll think of it here in a minute, but they play the winner of that game for the regional.
Thank you, Brett. Now back to football. 8:04 up on the clock for the first quarter. 4th and 2. The Mounties are going for it. They've got that heavy running set. Man with his hand in the dirt is the fullback. Some motion playing going on. Here's Giles under center. He'll be a quarterback keeper up the middle. The play is whistled dead. False start.
Yep.
We'll move Southmont back. And if the Stars accept it, I'm not sure if the Mounties even got the first down or not, but they will step it back anyway since they blew it dead.
So that's what happens when you get old. It's Northview is a school that plays South Putnam. So I thought of it there.
And as for the Mountie girls golf team, Southmont, they also won sectionals, so congratulations to them. Southmont having a pretty good week here in their sports. So here, that penalty will set up the Mounties 4th and 7. They're in punting situation now. Connor Hull back to return for the Stars.
He's standing about the 30.
And he'll let this one bounce. It'll bounce to around the 30-yard line where Hull picks it up over to the left side, changes field position. Hull has some room to go, just a few people in front of him. Now at the 50, Hull at the 40. Connor Hull, 20-yard line. Hull cuts it back upfield at the 10, and he's in. Connor Hull with a touchdown, Western Boone. 13-0 your score now after Hull brings that one back, and the players on the field are ecstatic after that special teams touchdown from Connor Hull, his 7th touchdown on the year total, and that's his 2nd special teams touchdown as well.
Well, I tell you what, you're listening on the radio here. He went left. The Mounties had him cut off going left. He cut back right, and he got to be where he just had to beat the kicker or the punter, and he was able to get past the punter, and I'll tell you what, there was nobody touched him.
And the PAT is up, and as always, it's good. Only one missed PAT. Jake Taylor is in the 95th percentile so far this year, kicking those point-after attempts. And for Connor Hull, that's his 15th punt return of the year, and just does a really nice job. His previous long was 42. That one a 70-yard return for the touchdown and puts the Stars on top without even having to go back out on the field for offense.
Yeah, very quick. And like I said, the Mounties have been controlling the clock, but then Western Boone's controlling the points with that 14-0 lead. Got a couple other little things here. The longest winning streak in the series between these two teams is 9, and Western Boone can tie that tonight by having 9 in a row, and that was between 1992 and 1998. Southmont did win 5 games in a row between 2008 and 2011.
So now for the 3rd time tonight, the Western Boone Stars kicking team led by Hayden Woodruff, number 53, the kicker, out onto the field. A couple quick updates before we go for scoring. Tri-West, they scored another one against their opponent, North Montgomery. They're up 14-0 now, and same for Danville against Frankfort. That's 2 quick scores for Danville, 14-0 the score over there as well. And Danville, the team that Southmont fans know, they had won by a huge margin here just last week. 52-0 was the score there. And here's the return for the Mounties over the left side. Dylan Lowy, and he's swallowed up and brought down in a bear hug by multiple Western Boone Stars right around the 26-yard line. One of those included.
Brant Pitcher was one of them, number 57.
Now get this, Brett. Eastbrook versus Alexandria Monroe. The score 7-3. You don't see those field goals too often in
No.
high school sports. But funny for Eastbrook, the Stars last year in that state championship game kicked 2 field goals against them. So Eastbrook knows what it's like. They do have a pretty good red zone defense that can hold at the goal line, and Eastbrook ahead 7-3 against Alexandria Monroe. Back to this game, Southmont man in motion. It'll be a quarterback keeper. Giles is going to be upended and brought down by number 5, Clayton Heisong, for a loss or maybe a gain of just 1. And now we'll set up the Mounties with a 2nd and 9 here in their own territory, right around the 28-yard line.
Yeah, that swarming defense by Western Boone. They know that Southmont 99% of the time is going to run the ball, and they're keying off on the run. And the other thing is he doesn't have time to throw the ball.
No, this pass rush for the Stars have been stout.
And
here is a fumble Bad snap. Giles recovers, going to throw it out of bounds. And this one incomplete, and crisis averted there as the bad snap over the head of Cameron Giles. And
he did have a man in the vicinity that Evan Lowe was out there. So Evan was close enough that he could try to get it out there to him and threw it out of bounds. But the Mounties now 3rd and 9, 6:29 to go here in this first period of play, and it's a 14-0 lead for Western Boone.
And here comes Southmont in their pistol formation. 2 wingbacks, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. Halfback behind the quarterback, Giles. Giles is dropping back to pass. He has early pressure, throws this one, launches it high up into the air. Cortez Stoudemire coverage and goes out of bounds, incomplete, intended for number 18 for Southmont, Trent Jones. So that incomplete pass after the deep bomb, thrown out of bounds right around the 43-yard line, will now set up Southmont with a 4th and long and another punt deep into their own territory.
And a kid that we named his name a lot last week, Stoudemire, was there for the stop as he almost was able to catch the ball as he was going out of bounds.
Stoudemire had 2 interceptions just 2 weeks ago against Tri-West and almost had another one there if he wasn't out of bounds. Dropped it right at the end. Here's the punt formation.
Hole standing at his 40. Can he do a 60-yard? Oh,
and a bad punt. Shanks it out of bounds for a loss of 5 or 6, and Western Boone is going to be set up now right around their 15 or 16-yard line after that punt. Just shanked off of the right side of the punter's leg. Number 19 is the punter for the Mounties, Jake Whitecotton. And Lebanon with a quick score against Crawfordsville, 6-0. Thank you, Andy Hoskins, for the scoring updates provided throughout the night and throughout the season here on WBTV Sports. So now the Stars offense taking their time to get out of the field. There's 6:19 left in the first, 14-0 your score.
I'm not even sure that was a positive punt. That might have been in the negative by the time it went out of bounds.
A very tough break for the Mounties as now the Stars set up with seemingly about as easy a field position as you can ask for. 2 straight drives. Here's Spencer Wright, going to throw it deep into the end zone. He's got a man. Nope, incomplete. Intended for number 85, Connor Garrity. And now 6:15, the clock stops, left in the first. Spencer Wright in that pistol formation tries to take an early shot. And
yep. Evan Lowe there on the defense for the Mounties.
Interesting enough, the last drive, the Stars, when they were already gifted amazing field position, they went for that heavy set and tried to run it in. Here they air it out for the end zone, first play. Spread formation. Here's Spencer Wright. He's in the pistol formation. He's got his man, Caleb Iron, behind him. Handoff up to Iron, up the middle. Iron's still moving, and near the end zone, near the goal line, he lunges forward.
About the 1, I think, or a half-yard line.
Stop him right at the goal line, and maybe if the ball was just a tad bit bigger, it would have been able to go. It was that quick. You could probably put a note card in between the goal line and the ball.
Yeah, he's 5'10". If he'd have been 6 foot tall, that'd have been a touchdown.
So now this heavy set formation, Robbie Taylor coming out in the running back position. He's already had 1 touchdown today. He's going to try to get another one. I'm sure they're going to go right up the middle to him. They've got 5, 6.
Don't think they'll keep it? Don't think it'd be a quarterback keep?
We'll see here. It is going to be a pass over to the right side. Is it caught?
No.
Incomplete pass intended for Garrity, number 85. So fooled even me as I was so sure that they just run it up the middle.
That was Lowry that knocked it out for the Mounties.
Instead, the quick slant falls incomplete.
Well, you know, that's the thing. Western Boone's got the downs to work on some things here. That was probably something they're trying to work on. Now watch the rush up the middle if they don't try to pump it back out to Lowry again.
Taylor's hand is in the dirt. Heavy set formation. It's a quarterback keeper. Spencer Wright with ease is in for another Western Boone touchdown. 20-0 your score with 5:37 left in the first quarter, and the Stars with their 3rd touchdown of the game. And Wright puts another one on the ground.
Well, I just thought that would be, that's a good place for a quarterback sneak, quarterback keeper, because you want your quarterback in those situations, and it gets to big games handling the ball.
Spencer Wright has 9 rushing touchdowns on the year. That's number 10 for him. Here's a PAT. Jake Taylor kicks this one up, and it's in. And Wright, we were talking about Giles earlier, how he has 11 rushing touchdowns on the year, and I was just amazed about how a guy could have that many already through the first few weeks. But Spencer Wright, just realized he has 10, and he's playing quarterback as well. Difference between him and Giles is Wright has played quarterback all year, and Giles just for a couple games.
Yep, just spreading the love around, and they keep this up. They're going to have to ice the extra point kicker's leg down tonight on the bus ride home back to Western Boone. He's going to be wore out if they keep this up. It's 21-0 with 5:30. Easy for me to say. 5:37 left to go in the first quarter of play. Western Boone over the Mounties, and Western Boone's not even broken a sweat. They've not had to do many offensive plays, and they got a 21-0 lead here.
Yeah, and Jake Taylor, he's averaging 5 PATs per game that he's kicked in. And here the team already has 3, and we're only halfway through the first quarter. And you mentioned they haven't even broken a sweat. Last week when they beat Frankfurt by that wide margin that they did, you looked at some pictures afterwards, Brett, and you could see not a whole lot of the guys were sweating there either. This Stars offense so fluid, so explosive. They're making it look easy out there. And here's Hayden Woodruff in the Stars kickoff team. Once again, this one is up in the air. Nice long kick. That'll be dropped right out on the 17-yard line and taken by Lowy over to the left side. Switches field position, brought down.
Oh, face mask.
Flag on the play, likely a face mask. As you mentioned, There's a second flag comes in as well, right around the 29, 30-yard line.
That'll be a face mask on Western Boone. I wasn't sure which one it was. So the Mounties will get good field position to start this drive.
That's something the Stars have had amazing field position. You're going to go and look at the stats after this game, and at least through the first quarter, they're not going to have more than 20 yards of offense, and they've scored 3 times. And for the Mounties, if you want to be at least competitive in this game, you need better field position, and it's a step in the right direction. As for the Stars, there's one of those penalties that we've been talking about that they need to limit, and the face mask penalty, one that is kind of more reoccurring here in the high school level, one that should be a bit easier to control, I believe. Here's pistol formation for the Mounties. 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom of the screen. It'll be a pass. Giles facing heavy pressure from Freeman, and he'll just take the sack here by a couple Western Boone defenders not named Freeman. One of those looks like Wethington and Dakota Halford are the 2 defenders for the Stars. That'll bring him down for the loss of 1. Now with 5:15 and dropping left in the first, the Mounties set up with 2nd and 11 and a 21-point deficit at their own 34-yard line. Taking a look at a few more scores here before the next play. Lebanon scored again, 12-0 against Crawfordsville. Tri-West 14, North Montgomery 6, and finally North Putnam against West Vigo. North Putnam up 14-0, 2A contenders there. Here's a heavy set formation. Man in motion. That'll be a handoff, reverse over the left side, and brought down. The Mounties not able to get anything on that play. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2. And running back there, not able to produce. He is a smaller guy. Number 22, Lowy's just done so much for this team through the air and on the ground as Lowy throughout the year. He only has 3 receptions throughout the year, but those have gone for over 20 yards. And as for rushing, Lowy's been successful with over 17 rushes, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's coming into this game. Here's Southmont in their pistol formation. Now you've seen them go back and forth between where the quarterback's in the pistol and under center. Here's the pass over the left side. It's a screen and trying to make a man miss. Still on his feet. Now he's brought down as a Southmont offensive player there, the wide receiver. Look like number 19, Jake Whitecotton.
Yeah, Whitecotton.
He'll be brought down, and he'll set up a 4th and 9 for the Mounties, and likely another punting situation here as they've got 4 drives and 4 punts.
Yeah, the Stoudemire and Heisen over there on the tackle. Yeah, the Mounties just need to get a drive. I mean, get a drive, get a score. I wish I could remember what the score was at the end of the first quarter last week. I mean, you may have the stats on that, but we're not seeing too much out of Southmont. We get a punt here.
The punt by Trent Jones. This one is successful and fair caught. Connor Hull right around the 35, 36-yard line, and that's a fresh breath of air for the coaching staff of Southmont as they're actually able to get a successful punt off of the leg of Trent Jones after the last one went for negative yardage. You don't see that very often.
No, and if you're the Western Boone defensive coordinator and the defense, you've got to be happy with what you've been able to do with Southmont. You've practiced all week. You're holding them. You're holding them to 1 or 2 yards. They may be driving a little bit, but they're not doing anything to even get a first down.
Pistol formation. They've got the spread offense. Spencer Wright and the Stars actually now have to try on offense. This will be a pass. Airs it out. Caught. Reese Durbin, 5, 6, 7 yards now. Brought out of bounds by a couple Southmont defenders, one of which Dylan Lowy.
Yep, Lowy was over there. We've said his name a lot tonight. Already we're down to 3 minutes to go here in this first quarter of play, and it's a 21-0 lead. Your Western Boone Stars over the Southmont Mounties.
Yeah, Dylan Lowy, the wing back and defensive back for the Southmont team, does so much for them. And luckily, he's only a junior. He gets another year in this program next year. Here's trips receivers to the bottom of the screen. Pistol formation. It'll be a pass. He's got a man open. Casey Baird downfield at the 40-yard line. At the 35, brought down Southmont territory. And Western Boone flips their field position there as well. 2:35 on the clock. 21-0 is the score, and the Stars with a gain of over 20 yards on that pass. Right up the middle, just a quick pass to Casey Baird. Has to reach behind him a little bit, but he gets the big gain, and now the Stars back out on offense.
Yeah, White Cotton with the stop, and that's just a pass where you're behind the linebackers but in front of the safeties in that little soft spot in the defense.
Spread formation, Wright with the audible. He's dropping back to pass. He has all day to throw. Deep in the end zone, he has a man open, tracking the ball, and it's in. Is that Connor Hull? Is it in? It's a touchdown. Number 24, Connor Hull with his second of the game. 1 on the punt return, the second on the deep ball from Spencer Wright. And that play, a 35-yard strike up the middle of the field, wide open, Connor Hull. And he scores a touchdown for the Stars, the 4th one now of the game, and there's still 2:09 left in the first quarter. Will this game be higher scoring than Frankfort? I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, I saw him. Well, I'll wait till after the extra point here.
There's Jake Taylor. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it's through. Jake Taylor so reliable, the freshman kicker for the Stars.
Yeah, I saw Hull a few plays before that get behind the corner and run down the that sideline and cut in. Was wide open. So one of the offensive coordinators up above us, I'm sure, saw that and made that call. And I'll tell you what, that was a great call, because once he got behind the corner and the safety, there wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him.
Yeah, and he had such a nice cushion there.
And you got to give the quarterback, you got to give Wright credit. I mean, he put it right on the spot. He ran to the ball and caught that thing. So it was a good pass, good protection by the line. Just a great job by the offense there.
Yeah, you can tell Spencer Wright knew that was coming. He read the defensive coverage before the play began. He turned and kind of whispered something to a couple of his players, got the audible going, and threw that one with ease to the end zone. And now Western Boone going to come out and kick off for the 5th time in this game. Back to receive, Dylan Lowy.
Yeah, you know, the offensive coordinators are up above us, and they're seeing this game as well, and they're adjusting and making changes, and that's one of the great things that they were able to make a change for and make Southmont pay.
The 15th kick return for Lowy this year. He's got it going up the middle. Still moving over to the left side. He's got some blocking in front of him at the 35, 34-yard line. Brought out of bounds. Dylan Lowy with the pretty nice return there. He's averaging 20 per return, and there he gets right around that number as well. Set up the Mounties right around the 32-yard line now. 1st and 10 in their own territory, and they really need a drive here.
Looking there, that was 85 for Western Boone. That was Garrity that knocked him out of bounds.
Here's Southmont. They're walking out in their heavy set formation, and if you're Southmont, you just need to put up a drive, but you kind of need to do it quick as you're already in a 4-touchdown hole. Here's a man in motion is Lowy. It'll be handoff. Quarterback keeper over the left side. He's got 5 yards, and then will be brought down, leveled by a Western Boone defender.
That was a great hit. Austin Bowman tattooed him over on that far sideline, and he was trying to stand up, and boy, he knocked him backwards. And great job by the junior Austin Bowman to make the stop there.
Yeah, Bowman, a guy who kind of contemplated not even playing this year into the summer, and here he's been a big contributor for the secondary of the Stars. They try to move past some struggles that they've had early season.
He gets that meanness from his mother. I know his mother, so he gets that from her.
Southmont with a quarterback keeper over the left side, and will be brought down, smacked by number 24, Connor Hull there. And the reverse play, the toss out to the left side. Number 88, Nathan France, gets up a little sluggishly, being reviewed at the sidelines. That was a really hard hit as he's walloped there for a loss of a few.
Well, it was just a hit. I mean, he was still on his feet. He hit him shoulder pad to shoulder pad, and that's just football.
Yeah, Connor Hull plays with such fire inside of him. Already scored 2 touchdowns this game, and that big hit shows you. Here's the pistol formation. 3 receivers at the top of the screen. Bootleg out to the left side. Cutting it back up. Giles will be brought down after a negative play, and we'll set up another punt formation as the Southmont, they got to be knocking on negative yardage throughout the game so far here as they're brought down for a loss of 1.
Well, we saw last week Frankfurt with negative 17 for the game. So, but I'll tell you, Connor Hull, I've been watching him a little bit on the defense. He's back there in that safety and in that roamer position, and he's got that football head to him where he knows where he needs to be. We're going to be at the end of the first quarter here where it's 28-0 Western Boone over Southmont.
Yeah, we'll be back here in just a few moments on WBTV Sports after a word from our sponsors. St. Adrian Meats and Sausage, located on the square in downtown Lebanon, offers locally raised and handcrafted proteins. Experts in livestock production and nutrition, their core value is that quality protein begins with exceptional nutrition. From birth to butcher, they know exactly what is in their products and how the animals are raised. Support your Boone County butchers and buy local. St. Adrian is open Fridays from noon until 6 and Saturdays from 10 to 4. Bob's Concessions sells foods such as Polish and Italian sausage, tenderloins, hamburgers, hot dogs, fries, and more. You can find Bob Campbell and his delicious food truck at events such as the Turning of the Leaves Festival and other fairs around the area. For more information, call 317-850-6499. We're back here, Southmont High School, as you can hear some claps in the background as they're recognizing that girls golf sectional winning team for Southmont we mentioned earlier. Now onto the field where these two teams are preparing to get back out on to play. Southmont, I believe, are going to punt here, if I can remember. They sure are. 4th and 10. 4th and 11.
Flip the field here. I wonder what the turf is pretty hot down there at that end. They're going to try to score some at the other end this quarter.
Well, they've used that other end zone 4 times. We'll try to use this one on our end a little bit more now. Here comes the punt. Hopefully it goes and leaves a foot well. It does. It will go out to the left side, now to bounds, right around the 52-yard line. The referee steps that one off right to the 50-yard line. As that was a high punt, short, and went right out of bounds, but it was better than what they had a couple punts earlier.
I was going to say, yeah, he'll take that anytime as a negative 5-yard punt that he had earlier in the ball game.
And Western Boone's offense now, they're going to start right at midfield with a 1st and 10, and they've been successful every time that they've hit the field. We'll see what they can do here. 12 fresh new minutes from Boone on offense. Some pretty high scores from around the conference. Danville ahead against Frankfurt, 26-0. Lebanon against Crawfordsville, 18-0. And here's the spread formation pistol for the Stars. Handoff up the middle to be quarterback keeper over to the left side. Still moving right side. Spencer Wright has a hole at the 30. At the 20, there's a flag on the play. He's at the 10. Cuts it upfield. Spencer Wright now brought down. The play was called dead after
I think they're going to call that on 10. That would be Reese Durbin for Western Boone. We'll see. But I think he was holding there.
Now, Brett, why did they call the play dead when Wright was still moving and upright? They might have thought he stepped out of bounds. But, yeah, they'll call that one against the Stars, so they'll step that one back.
And, that's another case where I don't think Durbin's defensive player could have caught Wright anyway. That happens a lot of times. There's a hold or something, and it's far enough away that you didn't have to do it, but you did it. And the one thing was Durbin kind of pointed to his helmet and said, hey, it was me.
It's on me, that's right. And Wright had, a 43-yard gain and was inside the 10-yard line. Now they got to start this one over again.
It was Lowy who he held.
Pistol formation, handoff up the middle. Robbie Taylor to the right side, still moving. Robbie Taylor at the 20-yard line. At the 10, still moving his feet, and he's brought down right around the 8-yard line. Robbie Taylor moves those feet so quick and just outran everybody.
He is so deceivingly fast. It's amazing how fast he is. You would think of his build, he's kind of stocky. You would think that he wouldn't be that quick, but he is. Evan Lowe, the senior for the Mounties, on the tackle there, the last man to get him down.
First and goal from the 8. Here's the Stars team. They're supporting a heavy set to the right side.
You're looking for Garrity over on the left.
Taylor's the running back on the play. Here's the snap, looking to pass, looking right, looking left. Right is going to tuck it, go to the left side, throws this one towards the end zone, and it is caught. Guess who, Brett? Connor Garrity for the touchdown, Western Boone. And Garrity puts that one up, 34-0 your score now. And they're starting to warm up the other side of the end zone as well.
Yeah, Garrity, I'll tell you what, that's where you've got kids that are heads up, used to winning, used to making plays. He went right. He cut right. The quarterback rolled to his left. Garrity came back left to help him out, and that's how he made that touchdown.
Here's the PAT. The snap by Foster. The hold by Durbin. The kick by Taylor. It's up, and it's in towards the left side. Two hands go up, and we'll add a point to the board. 35-0 is your score now. 11-17 left in the second. And the Stars very well may put up more points this game than they did against Frankfurt when they had 56.
I tell you, here's a couple other little things, but we got a minute here. By the way, I did look into it. The running clock starts at a point where it's a 35-point lead. Now, I imagine they won't do it until after the second half, but you have to be up 35 points. That's what we were talking about last week. But these two teams have met twice in the Hoosier Dome, back in the old Hoosier Dome days. Western Boone winning both games. They were in 89 and 90. And I remember going to those games and doing that from the press box way up above. That was a really neat time. And I'll bring this other one up after that. But I can remember going to the Hoosier Dome and do those games.
Yeah, the Sagamore Conference gives you some pretty good memories up here. I can remember from Lucas Oil Stadium just last year.
Oh, and that's a beautiful place to go and see a
ball
game
the facilities
and
there
call a
nice
game from.
Very high up as well. Everyone looked like
are.
ants down on the field, so the binoculars definitely came in handy during that game.
Did you go up and touch the door for that told you couldn't go in for the replays?
I did not. Here's the kick over to the right side. Brett, I'm guessing you did that. Here's the return. Dylan Lowey's going to be brought down. And it looks like number 44 of the Stars that brought him down right around the 20-yard line. Austin Litton.
Yeah, there's a door that has a big plaque on it that has the guy that's in charge of NFL football, and has his name. It says nobody can go into this room, period. So I touched the door. I didn't go in. I touched the door.
Well, Brett, I actually was able to go in, and I had a tour of the place up there as well. Thank you, Heath Shanahan, for that. So you touched the door. I got to go in.
You got to go in.
I got to go in.
Did
of course,
blindfold you?
Two different stadiums we're talking here, but the same concept. Here's the heavy set formation, man in motion, handoff up the middle to the left side now, and it'll be met by Trevor Weekly and brought down. It looked like Ty Welliver.
And
Number 9, Isaiah McMasters, actually.
It's good that the conference gives the kids an opportunity to play in places like that. I mean, it's back in the day, that was the only place you could get on turf was places like that. Everybody else played on grass, but when you got to go to the Hoosier Dome or you got to play places like that, you got to play on AstroTurf and where the pros play.
Yeah, now it seems like more and more high schools getting turf, even a small 2A team like Western Boone. Here's the rush right up the middle, and it'll actually be a quarterback keeper sacked. Tell me who that was, Brett.
There's Freeman again. I tell you what, he's going to rack him up here tonight.
That's 10.5 for him on the year, and he's well in the lead in the state of Indiana for sacks at the high school position. And he gets another one there. It's his second of the game.
He's kind of like, he hawks around that outside, but Freeman does on the inside. He's got a nose for which way that ball's going to go. And they're showing blitz to the Mounties. That's the thing. They're bringing a couple guys up. Sometimes they're bringing a guy back. See, like number 80, he's showing like he's going to go around the outside.
Here's the toss over to the right side and goes out of bounds, brought out for a minimal gain. Didn't quite see who that was, but won't matter as he goes out of bounds, results in a gain of none.
Yep.
And now sets up the Mounties 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Western Boone's doing a really good job with their defense of showing blitz, pulling the blitz back, putting the guys up, and they just don't have the numbers to stop the blitz. And it's 4th down.
4th and 11,
Yeah.
punt formation here. Tri-West 14, North Montgomery 12, Eastbrook 20, Alexandria Monroe 3, and finally for 2A, Knox up against Pioneer 7-0. Here's the punt. This one bounces right around the 50-yard line. Hole has it to the right side. He's got a couple guys going to be brought down before he can do anything by number 88, Nathan France. Connor Hole gets a gain of maybe 1 on the return there, and we'll set up the Stars with some very favorable field position. The Mounties territory, 48-yard line. Didn't need a whole much of a return there. All he had to do was a fair catch, and they still would have been at midfield.
Good shoestring tackle by the Mounties that time. They were able to contain him. We're at 9:33 to go here in this first half of play, and it's Western Boone with a 35-0 lead over the Mounties. Western Boone still with their main offense in. The A team is in.
Taylor, the back in the play. It'll be a handoff to him up the middle of the play. Taylor, a gain of 5 or 6. Make that about 3 yards. And now the Stars will be set up 2nd and medium, right around the 44-yard line. And then here's the Stars in the huddle.
Ethan Himes on the tackle there for the Mounties. I tell you what, they must have seen something last week with Taylor, because they're really working him this week. They're getting a lot of yardage out of him. Man in motion.
That's Casey Barrett. He'll have the reception over the left side. Going to stiff arm, going to be brought out of bounds for a gain of none. Forward progress kept him inbound, so the clock will continue running. 8:45 on that clock. 35-0 is the score, and a gain of none on the play on the in-motion screen pass to Casey Baird. And here's the Stars going to be set up now with a 3rd and long, and first 3rd and long of the game for them, as they've had it relatively easy on offense.
And a great, beautiful night tonight. It's super. Western Boone traveled well tonight. Their fans, and Southmont, a great crowd here.
Passing, Spencer Wright looks deep. He's got a man. It's incomplete, just over the hands of Connor Hull.
Man.
And that's an incomplete pass. Sets up 4th and long.
Just
4th
over
and
his
8.
fingernails.
Now, if you're the Stars, looks like maybe bring in punt formation.
I think they are, yeah.
Probably the first time here in the last few weeks that we've seen Clayton High-Song punt. We saw it a couple times in the second week of the season, and haven't really seen Clayton High-Song since then.
Well, if you're Western Boone, you want to try to pin Southmont back here with 8:14 to go in the half.
High-Song kicks this one. He's got 1 punt inside the 20 so far this year. This one will be close to that, and will continue rolling. A really nice roll right around the 10, 11-yard line, and that's his 2nd punt inside the 20. And now
got a Western Boone bounce on that.
Yeah, and doesn't get his name called quite as often as maybe the PAT kicker Jake Taylor does, but Clayton High-Song, punting duties, did his job there.
And I'll tell you, one of the most exciting games of the series between these two teams was October the 10th of 1986, when Southmont won a 20-21 game. So Southmont won 21-20, and the game took, how many overtimes do you think that game took for the Mounties to win that game?
3. Here's the play over to the right side. How close was I?
You were close, but not close enough. It was 5 overtimes.
5 overtimes
to determine the winner, and the Mounties won that, a 21-20 game.
And right there, the Mounties had a gain of about 2, 2nd and 8 now. 7:45 and dropping on the clock. Some substitutions for the Mounties. Number 13, Keaton Conkright, is coming onto the field, the 6'2" wide receiver for the Mounties. And we'll replace Evan Lowe. We've heard his name a couple times here today, especially on defense.
Austin Bowman's over here to check on one of the wideouts.
Pistol formation. Bowman doesn't cover as a corner very often, but here he is. It'll be a quarterback keeper, and the quarterback will be brought down behind the line of scrimmage, and they're really trying to get this guy, Cameron Giles, going from that quarterback position, running plays, but they just haven't been able to do it. This pass rush and run defense for the Stars has been completely unforgiving tonight.
Yeah, Western Boone is just so much quicker. They anticipate, and they cut off the corners. And there's no way the Mounties can go up the middle, so they're trying to go around the outside, and they just can't get around the outside. And you saw Bowman break off his man to go in to contain the outside.
And he's there right now as well. 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. He's going to the left side now, throws this one just out of bounds, heaves it towards the track and into the stands as Giles just trying to get rid of it there before the play is over. And now we'll set up the Mounties deep in their own territory, 4th and 11. They're going to have to punt from their own end zone.
And again, Western, Southmont needed to get a first down or two, get out of the end zone area, and now the Mounties are in the middle of they're going to punt from the middle of the end zone, and Western Boone will have great field position.
Standing on the end and Mounties of the end zone. Here's the punter. This one is up, a high punt. Hull's going to have to step up. It will bounce, not quite as well, but goes right around. It actually does bounce pretty favorably for Southmont to the 43-yard line. Will be downed by number 13 of the Mounties, Keaton Conkright.
Yeah, Western Boone kept them in the shadow of the goalpost there and did what they needed to do. Now Western Boone, great field position with 6:24 to go here in this first half, with a 35-0 lead over the Mounties.
Lebanon just scored again 25-0, so score against Crawfordsville. Lebanon has that game quite in control, I would say. Danville also with a big lead over Frankfurt. The Stars with the big lead over Southmont. Close game, Tri-West versus North Montgomery.
Is that at North Montgomery tonight?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Just across town. Here's the handoff. The fake now up to the right side, still moving. Didn't quite see who that was. That's Caleb Iron, number 30, the running back for the Stars. As he gets close to the first down marker, stopped just short. We haven't seen Wellington's name called a whole lot.
No.
And I wonder if he's a little banged up coming into this one. He was complaining of some soreness this morning.
Well, and, if he is, you want to kind of make sure he's fresh for next week because they're going to need that when they go to Danville. That is a little surprising, the North Montgomery Tri-West score, but North Montgomery does play really well at home.
Much better than their own record, and they held the Stars to a 2-touchdown game. Here's Iron, going to be stopped. Patience up the middle for a first down for the Stars. And now the gain of just 3 or 4, good enough for a first down. 5:39 up on the clock. The Stars with 5 touchdowns in this one, the Mounties with none. And Wellington still being his usual self on defense, so likely just trying to give him some fresh legs here, not having him play a whole lot on offense. Speaking of running back, Iron just checked out, comes in, Robbie Taylor.
Taylor's going to come back in, and I tell you, he just if he gets into the secondary, they have a hard time bringing him down.
Pioneer versus Knox, a 2A matchup there. Knox is ahead 7-6 against Pioneer. Here's the play. Hole over to the left side, still moving. He's got the speed for it. He's at the 10, the 5. He's going to be in for a 3rd touchdown of the game for Connor Hole. And he is in with ease. 5:03 up on the clock, 41 on the scoreboard. And Connor Hole does it again.
The hat trick for you hockey fans out there. I'll tell you what, he was in motion, and he was able to get him the ball, and he cut and went right through the Mounties, and then he headed for the pylon, and they couldn't catch him.
The rushing touchdown, the receiving touchdown, and the special teams touchdown. He's done it all here. It's Connor Holt. The PAT is up, and it's good. Jake Taylor, his leg's been busy. Like he said, they need to get him some ice
We're
here.
We're going to have to ice him down tomorrow. I tell you what, he's going to be wore out. Of course, the punter was able to come out and at least get his name in the books tonight with at least one punt in the ball game.
Yeah, we'll see if he has to continue to do some more here now. 5:03 up on the clock. We're going to take a quick break and be back with you just here in a few seconds on WBTV Sports.
C&J Well Company is a proud sponsor of WBTV Sports. This locally owned family business can help you with high-quality wells, pumps, and water treatment. Give them a call at 317-852-9355 and ask about their $100 savings for a 6-point inspection fall special. Bacteria sampling, pump tests, pressure tank tests, and flow evaluation, C&J Well Company can do it all.
The Jamestown Lions Club has been serving the Boone County area for many years. If you'd like to be part of the great organization, stop by the Jackson Township Historical Society on the third Monday of every month and check it out. All meetings are open to the public. That's the Jamestown Lions.
0.
Wow.
Well, welcome back here to Southmont High School. I'm Nathaniel Finch up here in the booth with Brett Kading and Danville.
Hey.
Just a quick update before we go into this kickoff. Danville ahead 33-0 against Frankfort. Likely the last update you'll hear from us about them. Here's the kickoff. Over to the right side is Lowy. Lowy, the returner, will be brought down fiercely by the Stars. And number 40, Austin Litton, with his second play of that fashion on special teams. He celebrates with his special teams coach, Luke Pearson, and heads off to the sideline until the next time the Stars have to kick off. We got 4:59 on the clock here left in the first half. 42-0 is your score. And now Southmont will be starting on their 26-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Mounties. Eastbrook, 27, Alexandria Monroe, 3, and Eastbrook, the Panthers have that game under control. Likely the last you'll hear about that game as well, unless something crazy happens with their opponent. Heavy set formation, man in motion, handoff up the middle, still moving, and by far the biggest gain of the night. Goes for only 9 and sets up 2nd down and short. Man still on the ground for the Stars. He gets up just fine. And in on the rush looked like Ty Welliver.
It was, and it was 18 kind of dinged up there for Western Boone.
Yeah, Elliott Young, the cornerback there. He got his nose in on the play, and he's up and just fine now. He's walking around without problems.
So the Mounties have got a 2nd and about 8 inches for a 1st down.
So they will go over to the left side, being brought down the pile. Likely see forward motion going to get the Southmont Mounties with, what is it, their first down of the game. Moving the chains for the Mounties offense. And now Southmont still in their own territory, still pretty backed up. And now they're at the 37-yard line, and at least some signs of life here in this game.
Yeah, 42-0 lead for Western Boone over the Mounties with 4 minutes to go here in this first half of play. Again, it's finally feeling like football weather here in Indiana.
A bit chillier night in the 60s. Here's the quick pass. He's got a man wide open, busted covered. Southmont over to the right side, 20-yard line. That's the 30, now at the 20, and still being corralled, brought down at the 15. And the wide receiver for Southmont with by far the biggest play of the night for Southmont now after the nice play on the last one.
That for the Mounties, 81. Let's see here. That was
Evan
Lowe on that. And, yeah, busted coverage. You saw Hole come off of him, and he just ran down the sidelines like he was maybe he was in stealth mode. Maybe he had his stealth button on, but the Mounties there with the biggest reception. They had their biggest rush play. Now they've had their biggest pass play of the ball game.
Yeah, and if you look at the scoreboard, 42-0, you would guess that the Stars, they don't have very many weaknesses, but their biggest weakness, and everybody knows it, is this secondary of theirs, that Achilles heel of the defense. And that last year, when they had guys like Peyton Young and Logan Benson back there tearing it up, they were very stout. Now, a couple of those guys, they've graduated, so the Stars are hurting a little bit in the secondary, especially with Connor Hull more towards that line of scrimmage, the in-the-box safety a bit more. He doesn't do as much in coverage, and just busted coverage there as a receiver. He was 5 or 6 steps ahead of his cornerback when he got the reception there and took it for a big gain. Now in the red zone, the Mounties heavy set formation, man in rush, that T-bone, wishbone formation with 3 running backs in on the play. Man in motion over to the left side, handoff to the left is Welliver. He's brought down after a gain of none. Now set up 2nd and 10. And man, how heartbreaking would it be if they get 2 more of these and can't get a first down here in their own red zone. The Mounties need to put up a drive here they need to put up some points here, after that nice reception of play before.
Lowe's going to bring the play in for the Mounties.
He'll come in as a receiver, so maybe they'll look to spread this offense out a little bit more.
Would be
Two
nice
receivers.
to see the Mounties punch it in here.
From the pistol formation, man in motion to the left side is a quarterback keeper. Giles throws this one high into the end zone, and that one has no chance. Out to the left side, out of bounds by about 5 yards, and you can see Giles not a quarterback by design there. He's such a running back by heart and just not able to get a good throw at all into the end zone.
And he didn't have much time. He was rolling to his left, and he had a plethora of stars after him. Would that be a galaxy of stars coming out after him?
You would think that by now, after these bootlegs have not been working whatsoever for the Mounties, maybe you try to just step back and get some more quick throws in. That's how that busted coverage on a couple plays earlier is he didn't leave the pocket. He stayed in the pocket. He threw it deep, and it worked out. Maybe here they got to just let their quarterback Giles kind of just sit back a little bit more. He's in the pistol now, spread formation, only one running back. He's looking to throw it, looking left in the end zone, high pass, and in the exact same spot as the last one. That one goes out of bounds as well. And like I was saying, not used to throwing the ball as he's so good at running it, but not from the quarterback position here is his early game struggles. 4th and 10 now.
Lowe was the intended receiver, but, you know, he did do a good job by not letting Western Boone intercept the ball. He did throw the ball to the outside, and if he'd thrown it to the inside, it could have been intercepted.
And they're going to go for it here on 4th down in the red zone, of course, at the 15-yard line. And that quick pass, he had plenty of room there in the pocket, so maybe they'll try to do that more. Here's spread formation, 4th and 10, 2 receivers at the top, one at the bottom. Heavy pressure, and this one out of bounds. It's intercepted. Still running down the left side. He's got plenty of room. One guy to beat at the 50-yard line, at the 30-yard line now. Who is that? At the 10 and in for a touchdown.
Studemeyer.
Cortez Stoudemire with a touchdown interception return for 70, 85 yards. And Stoudemire brings that one back for another touchdown. Now the Stars have a few on offense. They have one on special teams and on defense. And too bad that we're not playing fantasy football here because the Stars defense / special teams tearing it up today.
I'm not so sure he didn't catch that at the goal line. And if he did, that's a 100-yard run back. I tell you, great. But you know what the best thing was? Everybody swarmed to him to help him have blockers as he went down.
Here's the PAT. In such a team atmosphere here, especially on defense. The kick. It goes through.
Yeah.
That's another made PAT, and crisis averted for this Stars defense. After that secondary allowed the huge gain, they get the huge gain of their own by the interception return for a touchdown. And now Southmont has to look this defense in the eyes again here on this next drive as they're out on the field.
Well, I tell you what, we've had a whole game here. We've had a punt return for a touchdown. We've had a kick return or a interception return for a touchdown. We just need a kickoff for a touchdown, but the Mounties are going to have to score before we can get one of those opportunities.
Yeah, there is a
because
chance.
Because at the second half, the Stars, they deferred, so they're going to get the ball to start the second half.
And the way this game's been going, that might be the only time that the Stars will get that kickoff return opportunity. We'll see if that is the case here. Is this Mounties offense right now, the return team's coming out on the field, set up their offense, and hopefully they can do a little bit like they did on that passing play earlier that went for the big gain, and they just need to continue to try to exploit the Stars through the air. And we've got 2:32 left in here. It's plenty of time to mount a drive in the first half. Stay tuned here, by the way, as we've got that halftime interview with the state sack leader, defensive end for the Stars, Caleb Freeman.
Who's adding to he's padding his lead right now.
Yeah, he's making it pretty frustrating for the guy in second place, I'd say, is here. He has 2 just in the first half. Here's the kick. It'll be a squib kick, low, and going to be brought down right around the 35-yard line. Might as well try it as this team, the kickoff team for the Stars, has done everything else. Now they have a 7-score lead, 49-0.
Jake Whitecotton covered the ball up there for the Mounties.
1 touchdown shy of the score from last week.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would have really not thought that the score would have been like this in this first half.
Yeah, and I mean, the last 5 games, the Stars, they've scored 190 points total coming into this one. That's 40 points a game almost. And here they already have 49 just in the first half. We'll see what kind of damage they can do in the second half. But first, 2:30 up on the clock from the 35-yard line. Here's the Mounties team. 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. It'll be a handoff up the middle. Welliver, the fullback, gets a gain of 2 or 3 before he will be brought down.
It looks to me like there's still most of the first-string defense out there. Freeman's still out there.
Last week, after scoring 56 points in the first half, the Stars, they let their guys in for the full first half.
Yeah.
And then after halftime is when they put those second-string and third-string guys in, the JV players. And kind of helpful because the Stars don't have a JV game tomorrow. Neither of these teams do. So that maybe the JV players can get a little bit of experience here under the lights. Here's second and long. Handoff, that'll be a quarterback keeper, and will be brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2 or 3 as Giles not able to get anything done there. A familiar sight for him is those white jerseys in his face.
Freeman was on the ball. I'm not so sure that Freeman didn't
get another sack possibly.
Yeah, he had the ball. When coming out, he had the ball.
Freeman always in on those pressures, and his quarterback hurries, his sacks, his tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Just astronomical numbers this year, and possibly record-setting here as we near the end of the regular season. Just a few more weeks left before sectional play.
Freeman covered the ball. It's Western Boone ball.
So the turnover now, the Stars on offense, and that one was tough to see from up here. Handoff, Robbie Taylor gets a gain, still moving, of about 5, and wow, that was...
So, Freeman comes up with the ball, hands it to the official, and they don't act like it's a big deal, but then I see the chain gang switch over. So, it was
you know what that means, Brett. That's the 3rd sack of the game for Freeman, and now he gets a fumble recovery strip sack to go with it. And Giles is making it too easy for the Stars defensive front to rack up those sacks. Here's a minute and 13 dropping on the board, 20 seconds left on the game clock. Stars out to the line of scrimmage. Garrity at the bottom. At the near side, heavy set formation. Taylor, the running back, hand in the dirt, man in motion. Handoff up to the left side. Taylor moving his feet, still going. He's got a first down and more. And the 25-yard line is where they will call this play short. Clock stops for the moving of the chains here, but it'll begin now with 50 seconds left on it here in the first half, 49-0, and maybe the Stars try to put up a score just to match what they did last game. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe they accidentally score as we saw last week.
They act like they're taking their time, but they'll score if they give them the opportunity.
Man in motion, same play as last. Handoff up the middle will be brought down, and that's not Spencer Wright playing quarterback either. They have some of the second stringers in. So now
they're starting to put some people in.
20 seconds and dropping, and that will be it for the first half. These guys heading to the sideline. So we will be back here shortly as we're nearing halftime after a game that the Stars have just utterly dominated. 49-0 is the score here as the clock now at 5 seconds and dropping. And in compliance with the game clock, that will be it for the first half of play. The Stars ahead by 7 touchdowns against these Mounties in a game nobody really saw was going to be this lopsided, and it's looking a lot like the Frankfort game, but Southmont a lot better than Frankfort, especially at home where they're undefeated this year. And the Stars are just routing the Mounties here to the tune of that 49-0 score. So, Brett, we will be back here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned for that halftime interview with the man with 3 sacks this game, Caleb Freeman, and he puts his number up to 11.5 on the year of sacks. We'll be back after this, our halftime show on WBTV Sports.
Can you survive a night at Indiana Fear Farm?
It was awesome.
Scary, very, very scary.
We traveled an hour and a half to come to it.
Come see what's new in our spectacular haunted hayride stunt show and scream your way through our blood-curdling slaughter bar.
Don't touch me! It was so cool! I peed my pants.
It was fantastic.
I had fun. The worst part was that when you had
If you want fear, if you want fun, Get it all for one low price at Indiana Fear Farm. Open this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Go to IndianaFearFarm.com now for instant coupon. Indiana Fear Farm in Jamestown. Come out here for farm fresh fear.
Oh my God. Scary.
IndianaFearFarm.com.
WBTV Sports would like to take this time to recognize the Lebanon Martial Arts Academy. The academy is conveniently located next to the Lebanon Movie Theater. For more information, check out their website at www.lebanonmartialartsacademy.com or call at 765-335-2080.
WBTV Sports is proud to welcome LSI Lawn and Landscape Services to our broadcast family. Give Landon a call or text at 317-430-5007. LSI is your proven leader for all your turf care needs, from mowing and trimming to tree and shrub installation. LSI can even handle all your snow removal needs. That's LSI Lawn and Landscape Services.
This portion of the game is being brought to you by Winecoop Accounting Services. Give them a call at 317-441-8135 and let them take the stress out of your taxes. Winecoop Accounting Services has over 30 years tax experience and specializes in small business accounting financial reports. That number again is 317-441-8135.
Do you need shirts for a school, business, club, or anything else? Give Willie Smith and Smith Tees Screen Printing a call. Smith Tees will give you excellent service with satisfaction guaranteed. Just call 765-436-7930.
Looking for some tasty options at your next event? Give Cochran's Catering and Cakes a call. No job is too big or too small at Cochran's. For all your catering and cake needs, contact Beth at 765-676-6369.
Jamestown Christian Church would like to invite you to come to the 4th Annual Fall Festival on Saturday, October 19th from 4 to 7 p.m. This free community event will feature food and events for the entire family, including a special appearance by the Indianapolis Indians mascot Rowdy. For more information, visit our website at www.jamestownchristianchurch.net.
Opus Packaging is a proud sponsor of WBTV Sports. Opus Packaging provides customers with the best packaging and distribution solutions to meet your specific needs. Check out Opus Packaging online at www.opuspkg.com.
WBTV Sports would like to recognize Thompson Lawn Mowing for helping make this broadcast possible. For all your lawn mowing needs, contact John Thompson at Thompson Mowing at 765-366-5070.
Whitaker Glass and Mirror, located across from the Lebanon Municipal Building, has been serving the Boone County area for nearly 15 years. Whitaker takes care of windows, specialty glass, mirrors, windshields, and more. Contact Troy and Janie at 765-482-1500 or online at www.whitglass.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's halftime show. I'm Nathaniel Finch alongside Western Moon Star defensive end Caleb Freeman, number 51. Caleb, thank you for joining us today.
Yep, no problem.
Start this one off, Caleb. Just like to let everyone know you are leading the league, the state, in sacks with 8.5 sacks through the first 6 weeks. And just how has your preparation changed and developed here throughout the summer, throughout the first 6 weeks of the season to get you where you are right now with 8.5?
It started at the end of last year. After we won state, that was just another grind to get back onto the football field for the next following year, senior year. Started with track, getting faster and stronger in track helped. Then once school ended that year, 2019, we just started going to lifts in the morning at 7 a.m., getting better and faster, stronger there. And if we didn't have practices or anything that week, we would go to someone's house and get better and faster, stronger there. Just work out every week and get better.
Now, Caleb, I've heard a lot of rave reviews from your teammates, guys like Brett Wethington, who have really just brought to my attention how much you've developed here throughout the last couple of years. How have your teammates helped you through this process, especially those guys on the defensive line, on the defense, who are helping you get to the quarterback?
Brett's a good guy. Yeah, he saw my potential, and he took care of that and has made me a great player I am today. Same with the coaches. And with our team, doing our assignments and doing our jobs, get us to the spots we are and make plays.
All right, what are some of the goals that you have had set from the beginning of the year and if those have changed any throughout the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, goals is winning every game. That's a major goal, winning every week, beating your opponent, beating who you have to face every play of the game, and that's about it for goals.
All right, and your number 51, how did you get that number that you wear today?
Well, freshman year, I was like 71 or something, and I wanted a number change so I could play like different positions, and I thought 50s would be cool, and Coach Pelly generously gave me number 51, area 51 over here.
Well, Caleb, it fits you well. Thank you for joining me today. And everyone, Caleb Freeman leading the state in sacks, 8.5. We'll be back with the end of the halftime show after this from our sponsors.
Hoosier Agromag certified and experienced team of professionals provides planning, design, sales, construction, service, and parts for farm and small commercial grain systems. The construction team's clean and quick approach assures the most efficient option for you while keeping your facility operating at its best with an eye for the future. Give Hoosier Agromag a call at 765-436-2203 or visit their website at HoosierAg.com.
This portion of the broadcast is being brought to you by Jones Home Services. They're a 24-hour heating and cooling specialist. Give them a call at 317-753-0230 or check them out online at joneshomeservices.biz for all your home and improvement needs.
Bob's Concessions sells foods such as Polish and Italian sausage, tenderloins, hamburgers, hot dogs, fries, and more. You can find Bob Campbell and his delicious food truck at events such as the Turning of the Leaves Festival and other fairs around the area. For more information, call 317-850-6491.
Thanks to JL Hardwood and Flooring Restorations for making this broadcast possible. Our friends at JL Hardwood and Flooring Restorations do custom inlays, refinishing, laminate, and vinyl plank flooring. Give Jesse and Kristen a call at 765-894-5978 or check them out on Facebook. That's JL Hardwood and Restoration.
St. Adrian Meats and Sausage, located on the square in downtown Lebanon, offers locally raised and handcrafted proteins. Experts in livestock production and nutrition, their core value is that quality protein begins with exceptional nutrition. From birth to butcher, they know exactly what is in their products and how the animals are raised. Support your Boone County butchers and buy local. St. Adrian is open Fridays from noon until 6 and Saturdays from 10 to 4.
Lamar & Lamar Insurance strives to provide the highest quality insurance and service at the best possible price. Give Nick Threlkeld a call at 317-973-5700, or you can contact him by the email on your screen. Lamar & Lamar can take care of your insurance for auto, home, health, life, farm, and business.
Ready to make a move? Then look no further than Moody & Company, powered by Keller Williams Realty, as a top 5% real estate team in all of Boone County and greater Indianapolis. Moody & Company works hard so you don't have to. So when moving time comes, you better get moving with Moody. Call 765-336-1622 today.
Podcast is brought to you in part by Collins Equipment. Located in Thorntown, Collins Equipment specializes in high-quality used tractors, trucks, and equipment. You can reach Chris Collins at 317-347-0074 or at collinseq@yahoo.com. You can visit their website at collinseq.com as well. Contact Collins Equipment today.
The Jamestown Lions Club has been serving the Boone County area for many years. If you'd like to be part of the great organization, stop by the Jackson Township Historical Society on the third Monday of every month and check it out. All meetings are open to the public. That's the Jamestown Lions Club.
C&J Well Company is a proud sponsor of WBTV Sports. This locally owned family business can help you with high-quality wells, pumps, and water treatment. Give them a call at 317-852-9355 and ask about their $100 savings for a 6-point inspection fall special. Bacteria sampling, pump tests, pressure tank tests, and flow evaluation, C&J Well Company can do it all.
Hello, welcome back here to Southmont High School. I'm Nathaniel Finch, joined with Brett Kading here to my right. Brett, thank you for joining us today. We've got a pretty interesting game so far.
We do. We've got a nail biter. Southmont's got Western Boone right where they want them. It's a 49-0 score, and I tell you, we want to thank all the listeners out there. I was hearing while you were gone down to the concession stand area that we still have quite a few people listening to us tonight, so that's great that people are staying with us, and it's one of those things. Southmont's just, I don't know. They're just not into it. They're not playing like they're into the ball game tonight. I can't figure this out. Coach Hannum, and I know Coach Hannum really well, and he's got to be very frustrated with the way the boys have started out and played this first half of play.
Yeah, and they really play a lot better at home than they do away. And here tonight, it's just not showing. Everybody thought coming into this game it might be a bit of a closer game than what we're used to, but due to that injury at the quarterback position and just doesn't look like they were really prepared at all for what the Stars have handled them. And some of that is their own mistakes, the botched punt earlier, and just some of the mistakes that they've been forcing up there. The interception return for a touchdown was largely due to a bad throw there as well. And
punt return for a touchdown. I mean, just not containing, not tackling, not wrapping up. Just a lot of different things that the Mounties aren't doing well tonight. And we talked about Western Boone and who they've got left in the season. The Mounties have got some tough games left too. I mean, it's interesting. Every game's important, and every game that you play, is your wins and your losses. But as this season goes along, not only are the good teams getting better, but everybody should be getting better as we go along. And if I was Coach Hannum, I'd be very frustrated to see what's happening tonight with Southmont. But on the other hand, if you're Western Boone, they've had a couple little penalties. They had a face mask and some stuff, but nothing. They've not had anything like we saw the week that they played North Montgomery. They've addressed some things. They're doing some things better. But you know what? It's just like Southmont getting that pass behind the safety and the linebackers and stuff back in there, that doesn't hurt a thing. That points out things, like you said, that Western Boone needs to work on or can work on. And that's those are the things that get pointed out in the films that they'll see next week.
Yes.
And that'll help them get better for this especially this Danville team that they've got to play next week.
Yeah, they're at Danville next week. Then they host for Senior Night Lebanon. The Stars have a pretty tough last two games. Here for the Mounties, maybe even tougher. They're at Lebanon next week and then home against Tri-West the week after that. And
both these teams have really got tough games. And I don't know if you've got the score, but that North Montgomery, that North Montgomery score, it's at North Montgomery. The last score we had was Tri-West 14 and North Montgomery 12, I believe, was the last score we had. And so they're really, was a close game there at one time.
Yeah, 21-12 is the last that I've seen. I'm sure that there's some more updated scores on there, Tri-West in favor. And I don't know, maybe with this running clock here set into play next half, and might be able to get out and go across town and watch that end of the North Montgomery Tri-West game. We'll see how things fall.
Well, and, you were talking about North Putnam earlier. I was talking at our establishment before I left and came to the ball game. They've got Fountain Central tonight. So you've got North Putnam playing Fountain Central, and Fountain Central last week only played a half and then forfeited the game at halftime to their opponent. So, North Putnam going into that game with one loss, and they're in a situation kind of like Western Boone. They've got to keep playing. They've got to keep, can't look ahead, but be interesting to see what that score is this evening, because they played Northview last week, and Northview put it on North Putnam last week.
Yeah, and it's very important here these last few weeks, especially teams like Western Boone and like North Putnam. We know they have a pretty good chance coming into sectionals to put up some wins there, that you got to try to focus on some of the things that you're going to have to address later in the tournament. So, right now the Stars, they're handily defeating these Southmont Mounties, 7 touchdowns. And throughout the game, we saw some of the different stuff they were working on. They could have easily gone with just a rush up the middle for a 1-yard touchdown earlier. In the second quarter, instead, they elected to try to throw a pass, just trying some different things out. because come tournament time, you don't have time to try those things out. If they can kind of get their feet wet with some of these plays here today, some of these defensive coverages, some of the different audibles and assignments, then that is really what these last few games are for a team like Western Boone and like North Putnam, when you know that there's a good chance that you might be able to put up a few wins come sectional time.
Yeah, and it's one of the things they're going to come out here in the second half, I'm sure, and they're going to play. What we got there? Oh, so it's West Vigo. I heard they were playing Fountain Central. So it's North Putnam 14, West Vigo 7. So I was told they were playing Fountain Central, but that's better for North Putnam to be playing a team like that. But still, North Putnam with a 14-7 lead is good for the Cougars.
Yeah.
But back to this too. Here you've got you're going to have a lot of the second team people in, the underclassmen in, and we talked about that last week. Getting playing time, getting the speed of the game is going to be really important for these Western Boone Stars. This is one of the things where if somebody gets hurt, it's going to be next man up, and that's how they're going to. No, go ahead. He can say something if he wants to, but they they're going to be ready. This is going to help prepare not only the underclassmen to play, it helps the special teams, the kicking game, the extra points. You want him to be automatic when you get into the sectional play and get in deeper into the playoffs. You want to have those things down and everything down, and if somebody gets hurt, you want to be able to have the next man up. And if you're Western Boone, you got to be excited about their rushing attack. They've got 3 or 4 different guys who can really rush the ball, give the ball to, and they're not afraid to run it.
We haven't even seen Brett Wethington play tonight,
No.
as he's been just completely on defense, and they've scored 7 touchdowns. We've seen guys like Robbie Taylor do his thing where he usually does. He comes in and he gets right around the 50 to 75 yard range throughout the game, and he's already threatening that total right now. And guy like Caleb Iron for the Stars came in a bit of a smaller, shiftier back, and we've seen a few good plays from him, especially right up the middle, which you wouldn't expect as much from a smaller guy. But he's he almost had the touchdown earlier right at the goal line, and we've seen a lot from these running backs of the Stars who have been able to rack up yards here without their star running back Wethington really playing hardly at all throughout the first half. And like you said, you got to be excited, and this second and third string team for the Stars, they've got to be excited now. They don't get a JV game tomorrow, and they were all bummed about that. They're going to be scrimmaging each other instead, but now they get to come out and play half of football against a varsity team under the Friday night lights, and just in this pressure situation where they're going to be playing here with regularity here in the next 2 or 3 years.
And they're going to do everything they can to keep Southmont from scoring. Southmont's going to do everything they can to try to score with as we start this second half at it's a 49-0 lead for Western Boone. We'll be in a running clock, I'm sure, here in this second half. The biggest thing is you don't want to get anybody hurt. That's the biggest thing right now is even your underclassmen, you don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, and hopefully no injuries will happen here last
You want me
half
to see
of
who
play.
we got back? 36 and 31 are back for the Stars.
Stakowitz and Blake Miller, 2 guys back to return for the Stars.
So Hull's done for the evening.
Hull held his own on that return game. He had the punt return for a touchdown as well as the rushing and receiving touchdown. Here's the kickoff. A jagged formation for Southmont. Kick is up in the air. Not sure what to do with it. Is the returner for the Stars, but he picks it up and he's still going. Going to be brought down. Looks like it might be number 88 for the Stars.
87.
87, Jordan Gross.
Yep, he was one of the up men.
And saw the ball bounce right to him, and guy who doesn't have a lot of experience returning it didn't really know what to do. He hesitated, but that's what these guys are getting this playing time for, so they can get that experience. And like I said, when they play next year, the year after that, or 3 years from now, then they can just have at least a little bit of varsity experience under their belt.
And I'm sure Western Boone's going to take their time every snap. You've got 13 at quarterback.
Here's Rowan Durbin with a throw out to the right side. It will be still moving and brought out of bounds. That on the reception.
20.
Number 20 for the Stars, Ethan Bales, the 5'8" freshman. Big playmaker for his team last year in 8th grade when the Western Boone 8th grade team went undefeated. Ethan Bales was one of the main guys on there, and I remember growing up playing football. Ethan Bales was always one of the water boys on our teams because his dad was the coach, Tony Bales, and he's just a good friend of the varsity football program here. Here's a rush up the middle, will be brought down for the Stars. That looks like Joe Stakowitz after a gain of 2 or 3.
And Johnson, a freshman for Western Boone, is that correct?
Jake Johnson sure is.
Yeah, that's who your quarterback is here.
So here's the next play. Quarterback, actually Brett, number 13, Rowan Durbin, I believe. Pistol formation, spread wide receiver set. Stakowitz behind him. He'll take the snap. It's a fumble on the ground. Did the Stars get back on it? We'll see here. Get the call from the referees. It's just a botched snap. Kept in front of him, but Stars will now have to punt on 4th and 10. Second punting situation here throughout the game, and kind of surprising, the very first play or the very first drive into the second half, and this team has to punt. So
yeah,
Southmont's defense not going to give them anything. Here's the kick. High, will get a pretty poor bounce, but they will be returned and over to the right side, brought out of bounds. This is Southmont's returner. That, of course, number 22, Dylan Lowy, has done so much today.
And boy, your defense, you can see a bunch of different players now on your defensive end.
Joe Stakowitz there, an outside linebacker, one of those guys. Quick update. We've been tracking this Tri-West North Montgomery. 12's the score there. Tri-West has that game under control.
Pulling it away there.
So Southmont, heavy run formation, 2 receivers set, handoff, fullback up the middle. It'll be a quarterback keeper. Giles has room. Giles to the 30. The 20-yard line is cheers. Cameron Giles, his first play of scrimmage. He's in for a touchdown. Southmont up on the board. Will not put up a goose egg. 6 points. Put it up.
41-yard touchdown run for Giles.
Cameron Giles just takes the fake up the middle and moves out to the right side, and usually you see these fakes more successful under that pistol formation. The Stars do it a lot. Pistol formation is used a lot here as this extra point being lined up for the Mounties. So the pistol formation is used a lot more in high school and college, more than the NFL. It's more of an easy system to run, and they can get a lot more play fakes here as it's easier to disguise your running backs. It's easier for the quarterback to see over the line of scrimmage. Here's the PAT. It's up, and it's through. 7 points up on the board. So this pistol formation, you can have guys in motion. You can have the receivers doing different things, and there it worked out perfectly where everyone was looking at the running back up the middle. Instead, Giles pulled it and ran it for himself and showed some Spencer Wright speed there as he scored on that play.
Yeah, he faked the ball to McMasters up the middle and went right, and Giles did a great job. And like you say, had the Stars faked out on that, and it's a 49-7 ball game now for Western Boone over the Mounties.
And the Southmont team has played well in the second half now that Western Boone's second and third stringers are in. So we'll see if they can continue that here. Here's the kickoff team for Southmont. And I mentioned a jagged formation earlier. They've got, for every guy that they have on the 35, they have one right around the 39-yard line too. It's pretty interesting to see here. Formation that's not used very often on kickoff.
Yeah, these two teams have met 5 times in sectional play, and Western Boone won 4 out of the 5.
Trying to continue a winning streak here. Try to get to the 9th win of the season, or of the series.
And it'll tie the longest. Straight. That'll tie the longest streak. Western Boone had another 9-game winning streak against the Mounties.
Here's Southmont's kickoff team. The kick is a squib. It will be returned there by the returner for the Stars, and he'll be brought down right around the 45-yard line. I do believe that was
Gross, 87.
Yeah, Jordan Gross, his second return, one of the Upmen, as you mentioned, now with 2 straight kickoff returns there as the kicker, number 81, Evan Lowe, for the Mounties, not able to get that one higher up in the air like the Stars have been able to.
And that Durbin, a freshman, 5'11", 155 pounds. Well, you know much about him?
Well, he's played really well last year in that 8th grade team that we've mentioned. They won their conference. They went undefeated, and he was one of the engines that made that offense work. Here's a running play over up the middle, and Stakowitz will be stopped after a gain of only 1 or 2. So, yeah, Rowan Durbin, he really showed some skill last year, flashed some of that ability that really has some fans excited here in the next couple of years once Spencer Wright graduates. Maybe Rowan Durbin can be one of the guys.
How exciting can that be? You know, you've got a freshman playing and able to play some with the way these games have gone, to be a sophomore coming in and know you've got him for 3 years.
He's in a very similar situation now. Spencer Wright joined the varsity squad. We'll get into that here in a minute. First, man in motion. It'll be another handoff. A quarterback keeper is Durbin, and he'll be brought down the pile, pushed back, still moving his feet, and now brought down
with the ball there.
Joe Stakowitz up the middle. Not able to get very much there. We'll set up now a 3rd and 8 for the Stars. But yeah, so Durbin, similar situation as Spencer Wright, went undefeated in 8th grade. Wright went 9-0 there in his 8th grade year, if I recall that correctly, and Durbin 8-0 as well, and really just able to play under the wings of Nathaniel Bai was Spencer Wright, and now Durbin able to play behind the wings of Spencer Wright, and a really good guy to look up to is Wright. Here's Durbin, trips receivers to the top of the screen. He's looking to pass, looking right, throws this one up, it's in the air, and it's dropped on the ground in between a couple guys in coverage. It looked like triple coverage that way.
Yeah, the Mounties, I'll tell you what, if Jake Whitecotton would just looked up, the ball went right by him, and just like that, it's 4th down, and we're going to have another punt here.
Yeah,
I hope he may have to wash his jersey after being out here for the 3rd time of the ball game.
Here's the punter. This kick, it's up. It's very high. It only gets about 15 or 20 yards and goes out of bounds around Southmont's 45-yard line. So for Southmont, a very favorable field position here as they're going to try to add another score to the board.
Well, that was Joshua Smith, the freshman, 5'10", on the punt. So they've got a different punter in there as well here.
So he's had 2 punts so far this game. Who knows? Maybe he might have to wash his jersey after if they have to keep punting after this. We'll see how it turns out.
We're already down to 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter, and it is a 49-7 ball game.
I'm a big fan of this running clock here. And even though this is a 35-point game, if Southmont scores here, the running clock is still in effect no matter what the score is, even if they come back and tie it. Here's the rush up the left side, still moving, gets smacked after a gain of about 5 is the running back for Southmont.
And that is McMasters on the rush, and it was Blake Miller on the hit.
We've seen quite a few big hits from this Stars team, something that they pride themselves on defense, being able to swarm to the ball and get a lot of bodies there. And, Brad, I'm a big fan of this running clock here, as we already have now 4 minutes and 22 seconds up on the board. Left in the 3rd. 3 running back set. Man in motion is going to get the ball over to the left side. Still moving. He gets a gain of 5, 10, 15. Now he's at the 20-yard line. 25. That was Dylan Lowy, the wing back there, and he gets a nice gain. Takes that one from the 47-yard line to around the 15-yard line. And now the clock rolling, 3:50. Southmont with life in the red zone. Knocking on the door here, trying to put up more points on the board. And the receiver, Evan Lowe, is the guy who's been bringing in the plays so far tonight. Something you don't see as much, but when you've got your running back playing quarterback, you got to adapt to that play calling. Heavy set formation. McMasters is the running back. Man in motion is Lowy. Handoff. McMasters to the right side, and he gets a gain of 4 or 5. Now this running game for Southmont able to come alive.
Corbin Smith on the tackle for the Stars.
Smith, a freshman on that
yeah.
team.
Corbin Smith, number 71 in the scorebook, number 1 in his mom's heart, right? Huh?
There you go, Brett.
Exactly.
Some chuckles from up here around the box. Now
I've not been able to use these for a couple years, and you're new. You haven't heard all this stuff I've got.
We got 2nd and 4 in the red zone from the 9-yard line. Here's Southmont, heavy set formation once again. McMasters is the fullback on the play. It's a toss out to the right side, still moving. He's got room, and he's in. Hurdles the guy, number 19, Jake Whitecotton, for a touchdown. Southmont puts 6 up more on the board, and they are not going to just lay down like dogs. And here, after the last 3 games of 7 points, Southmont scores again, now 13 points against this JV team, and trying to at least take away some of that embarrassment of the 49-0 deficit at half.
And I'll tell you what, it was Keaton Conkright for the Mounties who leveled the defender for the Stars that opened that up to Whitecotton to get that touchdown.
So here comes the PAT attempt for Southmont.
We're down under 2 minutes to go here in this third quarter of play.
Now that lay down like dogs term I mentioned, that was made famous by Phil Simms and the Giants late. And here the fake PAT. Lowry has it on the left side. He's going to throw it. Going to be caught, but not good enough. And that will be a missed PAT. 13 points up on the board. So as I was saying, Phil Simms of the Giants in the late 80s, they were in the hunt for the playoffs, and just the Giants team really underperformed that year. And it was in a play-in game where they lost, but the Rams and 49ers, I believe it was, were still playing, and the 49ers got smacked. A favorite of that game, they put in their backups for most of it, and Phil Simms at his press conference after the game says that he was just horrified to watch the 49ers lay down like dogs and almost, it seemed like, purposely end the Giants season, because back then the Giants and the 49ers had a big rivalry, especially in the playoffs. So.
Right. Yep, that's I remember him doing that.
So now Southmont moving out and setting up for their 3rd kickoff of this game.
And I'll tell you, with the Southmont's lone win in sectional play against Western Boone came on Halloween night in 2008 when they won 32-11 to win that sectional game against Western Boone.
So here's the kickoff team for Southmont. Back to return, Joe Stakowitz on one side. Keep an eye on
Miller on the other.
Miller. This is another bounce, goes right up to Miller now, who has on the right side at the 20-yard line, the 30 now, 35, 40, and brought down right around the 43-yard line. Blake Miller does a nice job there after the gain of about 15 or 20 and sets his team up near midfield. Try to play some offense, this Western Boone team.
We were talking about this is going to be the 9th win in a row for Western Boone to tie the largest winning streak. The last win for the Mounties was October the 7th of 2011, and Southmont won that game 32-28. So that was a close game.
Here comes out the offense for Western Boone, led by Durbin. Pistol formation, 3 receivers at the bottom at the near side of the field, 1 at the far side. Here's the snap. Durbin, toss out to the left side. Stakowitz has it, going to cut up field. Going to gain 1 or 2 before he's brought down is Joe Stakowitz.
That'll probably be the last play of the 3rd quarter as we have a 49-13 game, Western Boone over the Mounties. And I doubt if Western Boone will be in a big hurry to get this ball snapped.
Well, we will head, and as you mentioned, they got 7 seconds now up on the board and likely move forward now into the final quarter of the game. We'll be back here in just a minute after a word from the Indiana Fear Farm, open tonight. If you guys are interested in going and checking them out, we'll be back here after a minute from them.
Can you survive a night at Indiana Fear Farm?
It was awesome.
Scary, very, very scary.
We traveled an hour and a half to come to it.
Come see what's new in our our spectacular haunted hayride stunt show and scream your way through our blood-curdling slaughter bar.
Don't touch me! It was so cool! I peed my pants.
It was fantastic.
I had fun. The worst part was that when you had...
If you want fear, if you want fun, get it all for one low price at Indiana Fear Farm. Open this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Go to IndianaFearFarm.com now for instant coupon. Indiana Fear Farm in Jamestown. Come out here for farm fresh fear.
Oh my God. Scary.
IndianaFearFarm.com.
And welcome back here to Southmont High School, where the Mounties, they're down 49-13. Here's the play. Western Boone with a handoff up the middle. Looks like number 36, Stackowitz again. Talked about North Putnam a little bit earlier, Brett. North Putnam, they're up 20-7 now against West Vigo.
Yeah, and they've been surprising. I, of course, being down at Ladoga, and being from Southmont, that was one of your, other than your North Montgomery and your Crowdersville game, you kind of circle that game on your calendars. You want to beat North Putnam. But North Putnam has had a really, really good year. Came back to beat North Montgomery. After this snap, I'll tell you.
Pistol formation, Durbin. 3 receivers at the bottom of the field. He's looking to pass, throws this one to the near side. It'll be caught, maybe. It will be.
Yeah.
42 is the receiver on the play. 42 for the Stars.
And North Montgomery's had some rough losses this season. They were ahead of North Putnam 20-0, and North Putnam came back and beat them 21-20. And so North Putnam has been kind of shocking this year at how good they've played.
So now here is the punt formation on 4th and 7. 10 minutes left in this game. Punt will be returned by Alawi. Now he's going to move over to the left side. He's at the 40-yard line before he's smacked and brought down at the 42-yard line of Southmont.
And Southmont's last home win in this series was October the 7th, 2011, and the Stars have won the last 4 meetings at Southmont. That equals up. This will be their 5th tonight.
Here comes the teams. Southmont's offense. They're going to try to get something going here.
And we're not going to get to this next one, but this next one's kind of an interesting tidbit from 1988.
Here's a heavy set formation. 2 wing backs. One of them is in motion. It'll be handoff over to the right side. And McMaster's a gain of none there, as Isaiah McMaster's not able to get anything done on the ground there.
9:45 to go in the ball game. It's a 49-13 lead for Western Boone. The most points scored by one team in a game in this series was 63, so we won't make that tonight. 63 by Western Boone. It was a 63-6 win on October 7th, 1988.
So now Southmont's team going to get back out. 2nd and 10, 9:20 left on the clock. Heavy set formation, wing back. Going to be a handoff up the middle, It'll be a quarterback keeper. And Nick Scott, the backup quarterback for the Mounties, will slip up and lose a yard. 3rd and 11 now.
And the most scored by Southmont in this series was 40. It was a 40-19 win in 1991 by the Mounties.
Another quick scoring update brought to you by Andy Hoskins. Triton Central and Cecina, what a game over there. 0-0 in the 4th. And that will be an interesting game to see who comes out on top. 2 big players in the top 10 rankings perennially for 2A. Western.
Yes.
Here's the motion out to the left side, still moving, and now will be brought down. Number 8, Gavin Haltom, will be brought down for Southmont after the toss play. Gains 0 yards, maybe a loss of 1, and sets up 4th and long.
Baker, the senior, on the tackle there. And only 12 of the previous 38 games have been decided by a touchdown or less, and 7 of those games have been won by Southmont. So the close games, Southmont has the lead in those.
So here is the high snap. Will be recovered and punted up in the air. This one's a high punt. We'll get a favorable bounce for the Stars. And will be picked up. Looks like they will down it finally, as the teams were confused as to what happened. Looked like it bounced off one of the players for Western Boone.
Yeah, he danced around there like it hit him or it was close to hitting him.
Then you had 7 or 8 guys from both teams just standing around the football watching it, no whistle. And then finally, Southmont player downs it. Western Boone's ball on offense, 7:22 and dropping now left in the game.
And Coach Hannum here for the Mounties has been here for several years. He was 5-9 against Western Boone. This will make him 5-10 against Western Boone. But if you remember, the Mounties, at one time, the Mounties won 3 straight Sagamore Conference championships under Coach Hannum.
Yeah, Hannum's been here since 2007. His record tonight will fall 60-75 in those games with the Mounties. Here's a man in motion. Handoff out to the right side. Ryan Taylor with the toss, still going out to the left side. He'll get a nice gain of about 10 before he's brought down. It'll be maybe short of the first down with 6:39 now. And the Stars, they do so much of this motion offense. First down, Western Boone, just barely. Stars do so much with this motion offense. And, Brett, what it used to be is to where it didn't matter. There were no regulations on this motion for offense in football at all, and Notre Dame notorious for it, where they would just move as many guys around as they wanted to, much like on defense, and really confuse other teams. Finally, they said, well, maybe we should put a restriction on this. So now there's a bunch of tight rules onto how you can motion. And here we got trips receivers at the near side of the field. Here's this running back out to the near side behind the trips. That's 4 people. Quarterback keeper Durbin still moving. He's got 10 yards, now 15, and brought down out of bounds. Looked like he was going to at least take a peek at number 42, Ryan Taylor, on the screen. They like that play with trips at the bottom and then pass it over to him instead. He saw a much better lane and just took it himself. Durbin.
Bradley Bowler for Southmont, the sophomore, on the tackle. And like you say, we're down to 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in this ball game, and it's a 49-13 lead for the Stars. And again, the Stars be able to enjoy this win tonight, and they wake up tomorrow and they've got
a scrimmage.
Yes, and then they got to be thinking about next week.
Same play as last time. This time a pass up and between the hands of 3 or 4 guys, incomplete. Now we'll set up a 2nd and 10 with 5 minutes left inside Southmont's territory. That's at the 26-yard line. Western Boone, similar formation last time with trips, wide receivers, and then there they throw it to the single wide receiver at the far side of the field. It falls incomplete, almost intercepted if the defensive back was 1 or 2 inches taller.
They have to be, again, Western Boone has to be fairly happy with the way everything's went here. I mean, they were able to win Frankfort at home, Southmont away.
They got a tough matchup against Danville next week at Danville. Close out the season with 2 more turf games. They've been on turf the last 2 years. A rush out to the right side. And the player looks like Brant Pitcher is going to be brought down after a minimal gain. Will now set up 3rd and medium. We'll give him about 3rd and 6.
Seth Tolliver on the tackle for the Mounties. Have you ever been to Danville to see their football
They have some nice facilities out there.
And they do. It's very nice.
Be excited to cover that game. Hopefully you won't see a black screen next week. Do our best to get our cameras going and operating like they should be.
Probably my fault. I told you I had a face for radio, so see what happens. We won't blame it on Matt, okay?
Pistol formation, looking to pass over to the left side. He's got a man open deep into the end zone. Touchdown, Western Boone.
Let's see, that is 87 for Western
Jordan
Boone.
Gross scores and now puts in the Stars with 3:30 left, 1 point away from the score that they had last week of 56. They have 55 now. Before we'll see who the PAT kicker is. And hopefully he's got a lot of pressure here to match last week's score. Number 44 for the Stars, Josiah Smith. Gonna try to make this PAT. The snap's down, the kick is up, and it is good. 56-13 your score. And the JV team for Western Boone looked like they had no fight in them here in the second half. And there they scored a touchdown with a nice strike from Durbin, and that's what's got to get Western Boone fans excited for the future is that pass right there. Jordan Gross with some nice chemistry the sophomore.
And I'll tell you what, I said they might not. We've got 3 minutes and 12 seconds, so we'll see what happens. But again, the largest score for Western Boone was 63 back in '88, and this has to be second place for them in that category.
2 straight 56-point outings, still pending the last 3 minutes of this game.
But the Mounties were able to score a couple times here, so that's they've got to be feeling a little bit better. But boy, I tell you, that first half was brutal on the Mounties.
Yeah, looking at some scores: Tri-West 33, North Montgomery 12. Tri-West has that game well into control after maybe some panic here in the early going. And Tri-West has struggled throughout the year, especially the last few games, with those early game scores, getting the offense going early, and really rebounded late. Even that game against Western Boone, where Western Boone won 27-13. Both of the touchdowns for Tri-West came right out of the gate in the second half. And last week they were down against Lebanon by 7 and came back and won by 7 after playing a sluggish first half. Just how Tri-West has been going so far this year. The kick is muffed.
Yep.
We'll be falling on it. Southmont has the ball, but at their own 15-yard line now. And if they really want to mount a drive here, they do so with 3 minutes left on the clock. 3 minutes exactly. 56-13 is your score. And man, it must be easy for our video switcher up here, our camera or our computer operator. He doesn't have a whole lot to do up here, Austin Smothers. Thank you for at least joining us today and watching the blank screen without video.
I tell you what, for a Southmont kid, he's done a great job watching that blank screen all night long. If anybody could handle it, he could handle that.
Thank you to both of our camera operators who were supposed to be on top of the press box working for us. Here's the rush over to the right side for Southmont. The pile pushes backwards. Negative yardage there for Southmont, and they will be brought down for a loss of 1. Just like to thank our crew up here. Austin Smothers, of course, already mentioned him as our technical director. We've got camera operator and parabolic microphone operators, Landon Coons and Richie Brown. Thank you to you guys. And, of course, Brett, Kading, and I, Nathaniel Finch, up here on the call for tonight's game. Brett, thank you for joining us for another third consecutive week.
I know it's getting to be a habit, isn't it? It's kind of nice to kind of get back into it a little bit. And you're doing a great job, and I know you're looking forward to headed to Ball State next year. So
that's
the Cardinals, you're going to go from being a star to being a Cardinal. Will you come back and see Matt, tell him what he's doing wrong?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how Mr. Foxworthy treats me here in the last few
Mr.
last few
Foxworthy,
months.
I'm sorry, Mr. Foxworthy.
All right, here's the play. The rush over to the right side for Southmont. They get a nice gain of 5 or 6. Still sets them up with a 4th down now, I believe, with a minute and 15 left.
15, yeah.
3rd and 5 now.
So you could hold out for a bigger contract. That's what you could do, see.
Well, you got to keep an eye on Tony Romo in the NFL. His contract is up after this year with CBS and likely going to become the highest paid color commentator of all time after John Madden. He owns that title with $8 million per year. And
yes.
Romo, as well as he's doing with CBS and with Jim Nantz, he'll likely shatter that. Here's 3rd and 5. Heavy set formation, man in motion. It is a toss out to the left side, cutting inside. Southmont moving forward, brought down. He will get 4 or 5, and they're whistling to stop. Whether that, nope, they're going to keep the clock going.
Yep.
That's a 1st down. It looked like they might have decided to measure it, and they decided, well, look at the score, look at the time.
We'll give them a 1st down.
We'll give them a 1st down, and we'll get rolling.
56-13. I tell you, we do want to thank everybody for staying with us, listening tonight. It's been great to be able to bring you a game from these facilities here. But Western Boone, well, I'll tell you what, 1 point from having a perfect season. That, if anything, keeps them moving toward wins. That 1 point would make you want to win out the rest of the ball games.
Yeah, Brett's alluding to that Week 2 loss, 40-41 against Western. Western, who got beat last week they got handily beat by Lewis Cass. So just some of the rankings for 2A. I like looking at Indy Star. There's some different places, different polls, and consistently of all these places, all these different sites that do their rankings, Western Boone and Lewis Cass are always 1 and 2 here throughout the week. Western Boone for the Indy Star, they are at the top of the rankings, and I'm sure after a 56-13 win here, they will likely stay up there, and maybe some of those other websites will likely join them with that ranking. I'm not sure how Lewis Cass's game is going, but Cecina struggled. They are still 0-0 in their game. Eastbrook has done well. Just a couple of these top 10 teams.
Yeah, there's
Pioneers,
one
close
from
game.
down south, isn't there? A good team.
Evansville, Mater Dei.
Yeah, I tell you what, yeah. But the thing about it is, on like that, you probably won't have to meet them until the state finals.
Last year, the Stars played Southridge right there in the Evansville area for the semi-state game, and this game ends pretty early. It's only 9 o'clock, and usually we're getting out of here closer to 9:15, 9:20, and a running clock a big help of ours. So we'll be back here for a recap of the game in just a few seconds after a word from our sponsor here on WBTV Sports.
This portion of the game is being brought to you by Winecoop Accounting Services. Give them a call at 317-441-8135 and let them take the stress out of your taxes. Winecoop Accounting Services has over 30 years tax experience and specializes in small business accounting financial reports. That number again is 317-441-8135.
Whitaker Glass and Mirror, located across from the Lebanon Municipal Building, has been serving the Boone County area for nearly 15 years. Whitaker takes care of windows, specialty glass, mirrors, windshields, and more. Contact Troy and Janie at 765-482-1500 or online at www.
Welcome back here to Southmont High School. Up in the booth, I'm Nathaniel Finch alongside Brett Kading. Your final score here, 56-13. The Stars will advance to a record of 5-1 while the Mounties fall to 3-4. And this is their first home loss for Southmont, a team that has done so well so far this year playing at home. Now they will have to they'll be dealt their first loss here, and really one that not a whole lot of people expected. 56-13 is the score after a game that Southmont didn't have any fight in them in the first half and just looked completely unprepared.
Yeah, I tell you, if you're Southmont, the coaching staff, I know Coach Hannum has got to be upset with the way they came out and they played the first half. If you're Western Boone, they weren't looking ahead at next week. They had 2 weeks. They had two different teams with not as good a records that they should handle, and they did. They did what they needed to do. But I'm telling you, these next 2 weeks for Western Boone, traveling to Danville is going to be, I would say, the harder of the 2 weeks. The Lebanon game at home, being senior night and everything, and being a Boone County team, but traveling to Danville and playing the Warriors over there, they're going to have their A game. They're going to have to be ready to go. And when they step off the bus over there in Hendricks County, they're going to need to be ready to play.
Earlier, before the first half ended, of course, the Stars ended sooner than a lot of other teams because of this running clock. Danville in the first half was up against Frankfort 40-0. They beat Southmont, I believe, 52-0 last week. So they definitely putting up points here coming into this matchup, and I'm sure that they're going to be very excited to play this Stars team. The Stars winning the state championship last year, have that target on their back, winning conference last year. Now the Stars, another win or two, can clinch conference for them as well, and they hold their own destiny there in that race. But like you said, this Danville game coming up next week is going to be very tough, but I'm sure the plus 200 rushing yards per game will help the Stars, and the plus 100 passing yards will also do good against that Danville team that's been known to give up some points every now and then.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to need to jump out and get that lead because I think if Western Boone can jump out, get the lead next week against Danville, then especially being at Danville, that's going to be the biggest thing for them, is because that is just such a hard place to go play and win. And they've got a lot of pride down there. And again, you're the state champions, and you're coming into their turf, and they're going to do what they can to try to win that ball game. And they want to have a tie in the
All right, well, that'll be it here for us up in the booth. I'm Nathaniel Finch alongside Brett Kading. Thank you, Austin Smothers, Landon Coons, Richie Brown, and our director today, Mr. Matt Foxworthy. Thank you all up here for staying with us, sticking through with this game. Final score 56-13, Western Boone ahead of Southmont. And for all of us here at WBTV Sports, we will see you next week for some girls soccer sectional games, maybe a volleyball game next week as well. And, of course, next Friday's matchup against Danville. That'll be it here from all of us in the booth. Everybody, have a great evening.
You do the soccer and volleyball.